Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the show today, I've got to tell you about the brand new Patreon page. That's patreon.com/snackspot. Snackspot, of course, being the company that owns this podcast, as well as Scheming and Dreaming and Quested. We just started this brand new Patreon page. It's only $3 a month, and it's really, really cool. We've got a lot of great stuff up on there right now. We've got Bad Directions, the advice podcast that I do. We've also got the Captions On podcast, where we're going through all the Disney Channel original movies right now, and it is a slog. It's intense. Those movies, not all of them are as good as you might remember. It's definitely worth checking that stuff out. So all you have to do is hit the link in this episode description to check out that Patreon page. It helps us out a ton. It's a great way to support this show and support us and everybody here. And it's also cool because you're getting a lot of extra bonus content, a lot of really fun, good stuff. So go ahead, check that out again. Hit the link in the episode description and sign up. Patreon.com/snackspot. Ready to go? All right. Sounds like the logo's off, which means it's time to go. Oh. Bernie, I can't believe you made it back, pal. I did. You know what? I was worried we'd never get to see you again. Actually,
I was just gonna.
Since you moved down, since you moved down to Florida, I was like, "Fuck, we lost him. We lost a great dude."
I was just gonna be lost in the Gulf of Mexico forever. It's a
hear the call of
it's an easy place to get lost, man. It's an easy place to get lost.
It's an absolute honor coming back on the trifecta.
Of course,
this is incredible. Yeah.
Yep,
and it's a great time of year to come back on. I mean, it's a great time of year for you to come here. Of course, you show back up, and all of a sudden it's 80 and sunny every day this week.
Classic. Have a lot of people been saying that to you? Like, "Oh, you brought the warm weather with you."
I've been getting that. I've been getting a lot of people like voicing their anger with my Snapchat stories of the beach. Like, I didn't like. People are like, "Dude, gotta cool it with that." And like, I guess they were waiting to see me in person to really
to let
me know. It's people are. Yeah, I'm like, okay, maybe I should.
Yeah, it's all jealousy. It's all jealousy.
Oh, big time. They would, yeah.
There's nothing that is more frustrating than being in Buffalo, especially. I wouldn't even say so much winter, but like early spring. Like once it gets into March and you're so close, you can taste it, but it's still like 30 degrees and like slushing every day, and you're like, dude, these motherfuckers are on a beach somewhere and this is where I'm sitting right now. It's the most frustrating thing you could ever experience. So I think it's probably still fresh in their brains.
It used to bother me a lot when I was a kid, because I was like, why did anybody choose to live in this place when you walk outside and your face hurts so bad? But I've kind of gotten over it, I think, a little bit at this point. To each their own. I'm not.
I like it here, but I couldn't live there because it'd be too hot. Like, especially coming into this time, like, I can't deal with temperatures of that nature. Like, this temperature it is right now is like maximum. Like, it's too hot for me. It's maximum.
Yeah. And then you add, 20, 30 degrees.
Yeah,
probably in Florida, right? It gets intense. But for me, and again, I love, this is where I'm from, but Florida's also, come on, you can't with the sun. It was the upstate New York, snow in October and sometimes May. That stretch for me is, and I don't know about you guys, that's what just drives me nuts, is that it's like it's
prolonged. It's a prolonged
Game of Thrones winter. Winter's coming. It's like, no, they mean it here. It's pretty much.
But it's a great time of year for you to come back on too, because it's the perfect kind of off-season break. Like, nothing, you know what I mean? It's the perfect time where you can talk about shit football related, and there's not too much that you're going to say that within like a day or so is really going to, except for the fact that DeAndre Hopkins signed with the Bills. We'll say that now because this comes out tomorrow.
Breaking. So happy to announce D-Hop to Buffalo. No, it's crazy because I think I messaged you guys 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
That, and I'm, love you guys, Buffalo fanatics, but ultimate troll move, whoever put that out. They put a picture, and they were just, it was all good fun, but they put up this DeAndre Hopkins Instagram story is dark, and then apparently if you lighten it up, like Buffalo comes through, and they were just messing with people like that wasn't real. Damn. But that was right before this podcast. I'm like, that would be unbelievable if and that was on DeAndre Hopkins' alleged Instagram story, if he had somehow announced that right before. That would have been. Could you imagine the electricity in here? We'd be like celebrating a Super Bowl.
So is this guy did sign with Buffalo or not? Okay, it was all okay.
He's not gonna. He's going.
And you just got duped live.
Yeah. There we go. Man. You were following. Oh, I didn't even get to tell you earlier. I should have told you. No. Yeah. No. See ya, D-Hop. No. I don't think it's happening. Well, true. Yeah, we will. We will.
We'll see.
He was on the Bills though, right?
No.
Well, ever? Never.
No. Never.
Every offseason, him and who else? Chandler Jones and every Leonard Fournette and every free agent that the Bills fans just kind of convinced is going to be a Bill is on the Bills, but no, he's not on the
Gotcha.
Bills.
Okay.
They never quite make it.
Never quite
Okay.
get there. Or they get here when they're 34, and it's like Anquan Bolden who stays for a month and then retires before the season starts. It's yeah, that's what we're stuck with. So yeah, but no, it is a great time. You hit the nail on the head with Calvin Benjamin.
Yeah.
Oh, what a name! What a forgot about him. But yeah, it is a great time of year because there's no games. I think the last time I was on here, I think we had just lost to the Dolphins, or we just lost to someone. We were coming off a loss.
Yeah. Things were hostile.
Yeah, we were feeling it. No, it was after week 1 we lost the Steelers. That's what it was.
Yes.
And no one really. And I was at that game with my brother. We lost. But this isn't off season draft just happened. Free agency's over. There's still the D-Hop free agents out there. There's a couple beyond that, but for the most part, the rosters are set. We have a good idea of what the teams are going to look like week 1, and the Bills are just happen to be blessed with. I mean, I don't think there's even much arguing. Probably the sexiest game on the schedule, week 1, Monday Night Football at MetLife. Aaron Rodgers. It's gonna be crazy. Monday night, to start the season, and they had the kickoff game last year, which. That was one of the most fun nights of my life because they basically won the Super Bowl week 1 in a lot of people's eyes. We can have fun. We can have fun and enjoy our team that has sucked for so long winning a night. But I can't wait for football.
Summer's here, people, and you know what that means. Picnics, barbecues, all right? And you don't want to be the guy who shows up to the party empty-handed, okay? But if you're on your way and you forget, don't worry about it because you can still be the hero of the day with Instacart, because when you use Instacart, you can get not just groceries, but some of your favorite local products from some of your favorite local stores delivered right to your front door in as little as 1 hour. All right, no more going to the grocery store, wandering through the aisles, wandering through the fucking parking lot trying to find a spot. Oh, look, there's an open one. Nope, somebody left their shopping cart in that. Who is this person and why aren't they being hung publicly? But you don't have to worry about that when you use Instacart. And the best part is right now, Two in the Cooler listeners get free delivery on their first order of $10 or more. All you have to do is hit the link in this episode description and get that deal. Start using Instacart today and make things a little easier on yourself. Folks, another great way to support the show is to check out all the sick merch we have got over at snackspot.se/creator/teespring.com. Do yourself a favor, grab yourself something nice from the merch store. We've got hoodies, of course, t-shirts, perfect for summertime, long sleeves. We've also got all kinds of really cool accessories, bucket hats, baseball hats, slides, fanny packs, notebooks, and then there's also pint glasses, mugs, those cool metal water bottles, whatever it is you're looking for. And this is top quality stuff, folks, okay? This is not that cheap shit you're getting from other shows or organizations, who are just trying to make $1. All right? No. The t-shirts, tri-blend material. That's Target quality, folks. You're not getting that anywhere else. So, again, check it out. snackspot.se/creator/teespring.com merch, not just for this show, but also for Scheming and Dreaming and Quested. You can just hit the link in the description of this episode or in our Instagram bio. Go over there and check out all that cool stuff for yourself, and thanks for supporting the show. And if you're interested in advertising on this show or our twin show, Scheming and Dreamin', or Quested, the Dungeons & Dragons podcast that we produce right here, you can email us at snackspotsports@gmail.com for details on how you can start reaching thousands of listeners in the Buffalo area and beyond. Because the nature of podcast advertising is so effective, typically you have the host-read ads, and that's why, there's these companies like McDonald's, State Farm, NASCAR. I mean, crazy companies are starting to advertise on podcasts now, and it's a testament to how effective that is. And it is cool to see the companies of that size kind of move away from more traditional media into the podcasting space. But the problem is it hasn't left any room for smaller local businesses to get in on the action. But that's what we are here for. So, again, if you're interested in learning more about all the benefits of podcast advertising, you can hit us up at snackspotsports@gmail.com. Is Aaron Rodgers going to be good this year, like on the Jets, or is he full done?
He's already hurt, so there's
Gotcha.
that. He's already dealing with a calf injury.
You know what, though? And I was actually they said this on 550 today, and it was a thought that didn't even have about the Jets yet, because I feel like the big talks right now about the Jets are that Breece Hall's already back, and he's going to be in midseason form for week 1, which, coming off an ACL tear, as we saw with Trey White last year, doesn't really happen much anymore. It happens every once in a while. There'll be a guy that comes back in 7 to 9 months, and people are like, why doesn't everybody do this? Because then most guys it takes a year and a half. You're talking a full season pretty much usually, and Yeah.
Brees Hall, coming back.
So they were saying, though, the conversation was, like, as good as that team is, now that you have Aaron Rodgers there, Brees Hall is probably going to get a lot more looks because people aren't going to be able to stack the box against them. Even if Aaron Rodgers isn't playing his MVP game from 3 years ago, he's still good enough to make throws to open wide receivers, which, the Jets had the offensive rookie of the year get injured, and then they had another player still win offensive rookie of the year.
Wow.
It's crazy. And then Brees Hall, another former Buffalo Bill that everybody was
thought we were going to draft.
The swaps were already, the amount of swaps, the amount of mocks that had Brees Hall going to Buffalo. He's a weapon. I mean, you see when he's healthy and what he can do in an offense without a quarterback last year for the Jets, and you look around, there's not a lot of holes. I mean, their offensive line looks great. As much as that's the only big question mark because we haven't seen it yet, but they got better there. They added pieces. The weapons all over the place on offense. You talked about Garrett Wilson, obviously offensive rookie of the year, but they still have they signed Lazard. They brought in Randall Cobb. They still have Uzama, tight end, who almost can stretch the field in a vertical way. So Conklin, I think, is there. They've got guys everywhere on offense. And then the defense, we saw what it did against the Bills last year. I don't even need to really talk about the defense. It goes without saying they have some playmakers. And, they're a scary bunch, the Jets. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's hard to believe that the Jets are going to compete for the division. Because, you know what I mean? But people probably felt that way about the Bills for a long time. Look at the Bills now.
But the Jets.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there were people that thought the Bills.
It hasn't happened yet, though, for the Jets. You know what I mean?
No,
like
that's true.
Like, that's the thing. Like, with us, we kind of did shut them up.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it was very reasonable to have that criticism of us at that time. But,
there was
still need to do
there
that.
was a big debate going on in my apartment yesterday because my roommates, I'm not involved in this. It's too much effort for me, but they're playing in there's a new dynasty league that they're playing in that's like a startup for year one. So they're doing their full draft. So it's 21 rounds, 8 hours per pick. So the draft is going to go probably, a month and a half to 2 months long. And so they're like the first round pretty much flies by, but they're into I think the third round now and it's starting to really slow down. And the only rules are there's no picks between like I think 2 a.m. and like 6 a.m. So or like maybe it's midnight and 6 a.m. So there's like a 6 hour block where your pick can't like start or end, so you don't kind of get fucked there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but
hard to believe that the 8 hour is dragging along and taking its time. That's a setup.
Yeah.
Wow,
it's quite. I know I'd never heard of like that. I'm sure people are gonna be like, oh yeah, I've heard of that, but. I mean, it's just that's a serious that's a draft right there. But I guess it kind of makes sense, like in the sense where I don't know, and you get to round 21, who are you picking, right? It depends on the rest of your draft. Are you going to start looking at rookies and try to build your team 3 years out, or are you a team that drafted heavy on current players and are going to try to go and win now mode for like the first 2 years? And then maybe start dishing off parts come year 3 to I don't know. It's a lot of strategy, but that's kind of what I like. They were debating like rookies that got drafted in like the top 10, mostly running backs of their draft, and like these guys haven't even played. Like I think Bijan Robinson was one of the names that they were throwing around. Like these guys, there's guys that don't even play a snap in the NFL, and you're wasting all this draft capital on them. I guess you'll see.
Yeah. I mean, it's the way it goes. That's how they do in real life, right?
Yeah. I mean, you kind of have to because you're only drafting rookies. In a dynasty league, you could draft current players.
That's
too.
true.
Yeah.
The running back position, too, with rookies is just so tough to project. I think that especially in fantasy football, like Bijan, who knows how they're going to use him as a pass catcher in these PPR formats.
Yeah.
This year's NFL draft, I mean, what a we don't have to spend too much long on this because it's already come and gone, but that was such a after the first 2 picks, it just felt like chaos. It just felt like what everyone thought was going to happen. We kind of thought it was up to – it just was so interesting to see how the board fell. And then the Bills obviously drafting a tight end in the first round for the first time since 1982. Just that was a fun night.
Yeah. And let's talk about that a little bit more, though.
Okay.
Let's talk a little bit about Bills draft. How do you feel about that pick?
So when that pick happened, I remembered them trading up, and I was watching it with my dad and some friends, and a pick got announced, and I remembered I obviously had to be on my phone for the Instagram account ready to go with a post, and I was working with my buddy who's graphic designing for me. Shout out Sandro, shout out to Lost Boy Production, doing our draft stuff this year. And the pick got announced, and I remember just like scrambling, like, oh my gosh, Dalton Kincaid, we got to get this going. I thought I was going to be a defensive player just because of how Bean and McDermott have kind of attacked, I think, the early rounds of the draft recently. Again, when it got announced, I think the combination of, you wait so long and the pressure of the draft building up so long, the round taking hours to unfold, combined with a couple of vodka sodas at that point, left me really just kind of in shock. I didn't really know what to do. I wasn't ticked, but I was just like, okay, we're trading up for a tight end. And I knew Kincaid was a beast. I didn't scout him necessarily as much as other players I thought were going to be there at 25, just because a lot of people thought he could have been, top 15, top 12 pick, top 10 player in the draft. But the position he plays, to answer your question of how do I feel about that pick specifically, when you see the chance for what he can mean to the offense, I think a lot of people are over fixating on the position he plays and the Dawson Knox replacement narrative. He's going to just be an offensive weapon, and they're moving towards this brand of positionless football in Buffalo with Dorsey. It's not necessarily like Shanahan-esque or Mike McDaniel-esque, but it's moving towards that, where we're going to get playmakers with the ball in their hands that catch the ball, elite hands from Kincaid, 5 drops in college over 4 seasons, or 5 seasons. Actually, I got that wrong. 4 drops over 5 seasons of college football, Dalton Kincaid. So elite hands, like Bean says. First round pick, I mean, the run on receivers, I wanted a wide receiver, but hey, that's a weapon, and that's a weapon for Josh, and that's what they needed, was a guy that can move the chains and make a little bit more happen on offense, besides Diggs and Allen. So, yeah, that's the first round pick.
Yeah.
But then obviously it was a whole draft. I thought we got a starting caliber guard in the second. I think we have likely our starting middle linebacker in Dorian Williams. We got in the third. Osiris Torrance, the guard, in the second out of Florida. It was just a really nice draft. And then you pick up baby DK Metcalf in the 5th with Justin Shorter, who's 6'4", limited production in college, but the projection, even just as a special teamer, I mean, he's probably going to be our starting gunner on special teams next year opposite Saran Neal. And then it's just a guy with a ton of upside and size to add to that receiver room that the Bills didn't already have. So a lot of people were critical of this draft because it was a little unorthodox, I'd say, from a traditional standpoint, NFL draft. I thought no less than an A-, personally.
No, I like it. I like it. I agree. I would say it's the same thing. Obviously, as somebody who's much less educated on the subject than you, when it comes to the, I guess, talent, like the prospects, the talent pool. I used to watch a lot of college football. Since I graduated college, I really don't watch as much college football. But once I saw, a lot about Kincaid and kind of what he does on the field, I was all in on it. It didn't take. I could be easily convinced, though. You can really convince
that
me.
was kind of me with it being an offensive weapon.
Yeah, I think that was it. Like, if it's a defensive player, you're like, and they're like, this is the best, so-and-so, and to come through the draft in however many years, it's like, okay, like, awesome. Let's see him, make a tackle. But when it's an offensive player, it's so quick to be like, yeah, this guy's going to fucking light it up.
Well, especially with Josh Allen throwing him the ball. I mean, where he's going is a big thing. And a lot of people were talking about that fit. Daniel Jeremiah, NFL draft analyst, kind of he had Kincaid as the top pass catcher in the draft, including wide receivers, tight ends. This was such a tight end heavy class. And that was another thing that kind of sold me on immediately. I'm like, well, we took the best tight end in one of the best tight end classes supposedly in the last decade. Let's go Bean, trust the process. But
and I think you also see, in our like AFC counterpart, what a good tight end can do to you. You know what I mean? What a tight end that you can pretty much run an offense through can do to you. And obviously, it's always hurt us. Like, we've never been able to really defend Travis Kelce. No, nor has anybody. So. Yeah.
And even Travis Kelce now, and then Gronk in years past.
Gronk,
so it's like we've always had that just unreal tight end to try to defend against.
But that's the problem. When you have a tight end that good, when you have a guy the size of a tight end who's that good, it's almost impossible to defend because most corners are going to be too small to defend him as is. And if you put a linebacker on him or somebody like that, I mean, you're toast.
And the best part, too, about this pick, I think, is you have Dawson Knox is, I think, going to be your standard inline tight end. He's an above-average blocker at the NFL level. He's proved that. I don't think he's, like, Gronk out there blocking, but he can block. They're going to put Kincaid all over the place from the looks of it, just from early clips of training camp. They have him in the backfield running routes. They have him in the slot a lot. You heard the Cole Beasley comparison from Brandon Beane, and I think Cole kind of took offense to that. He's like, don't compare me to a tight end. The point was he's going to really dominate in that short yardage. He's going to dictate where that coverage follows him, and whether it's 5-yard zigs, whether he's running in routes, slants, those elite hands combined with that tight end build, I just can't wait to see what this guy does on Sundays. It's gonna be fun, and the first Monday Night Football game of the year.
I know we're just kind of putting you on the hot seat here, but what do you think about, I guess, then some of the free agent looks we've had? I would say at running back and then a little bit at receiver as well.
That's a good question. So running back wise, Damian Harris, a lot of people. I'm hearing that he's the joker of the deck of cards of this free agency, and that we don't know what we're going to get. This could be a guy that comes in and starts at running back. I wouldn't be shocked if he's the starter. You heard McDermott early on in OTAs talk about, he's saying we got a really good running back room. Naheem is still learning the system. Naheem was added mid-season last year. Damian Harris just showed up. So to not say that about Damian, and that's not even necessarily a criticism of Hines. I think that's more of a testament to Damian Harris shows up, picks up the system. Who knows? I mean, I like James Cook, but Damian Harris, if he can stay healthy and he can stay on the field, because that's been kind of his crux, I think, the last couple seasons of the Patriots. I'm excited to see what he can even just bring, even if he does end up being a rotational guy. And then wide receiver-wise, really quick to touch on. So Hardy, a guy who I know Bills fans were ticked when that announcement was signed because they saw $5 million guaranteed, and they saw, who's Deontay Hardy? Deontay Harris he changed his name, so that was an instant, some Bills fans were like, okay, wait a minute, now I'm starting to remember that name a little bit more. The former All-Pro returner, guy had a lot of role in that Saints offense. I think he comes in and he's your wide receiver 3 week 1. I don't think Bean signs that contract and gives that out if they don't have some serious projection of a role for this guy in this offense in Harris. And those are probably the 2 biggest free agency signings of those 2 position groups. And I'm definitely bigger fans of those now. They've aged like fine wine so far this offseason.
I actually liked the Damian Harris signing. I think that, again, though probably recency bias, when he was in New England, he notoriously tore up the Bills.
That big run.
Yeah.
I think it was the win game.
Yeah.
That was
what
won them the
there.
game.
I recall. Yeah.
You were there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I was there. I went right from work to there, and it was very, very cold. But then I was also at the wild card game, the below zero game, when they played the perfect game against the Patriots. I was a lot warmer that night than I was the night of the win game, I'll tell you that. And the night of the win game, I was sitting and I had great seats. Shout out to my buddy that got them. And we were actually a little bit protected from the wind. It was still freezing. And that playoff game, I was in the top bins. I was about as high as you could go, and it felt like it was 80 and sunny up there, man. Yeah. It was an absolute blast.
That's awesome.
Jealous
that game.
Yeah,
that must have been
it was by far one of, I would say, the coolest experiences of pro sports that I've ever got to see. I would say it will instantly fall to number 2 once I get to see a Sabres playoff game, just because that's my nature. I just think the NFL playoffs there's so much on the line because it's one and done, but NHL playoffs, the game changes so much from 1 week you're playing regular season hockey to the next week playoff hockey. It's watching a completely different sport. The intensity level just increases a billion. And I feel like in the NFL, the way that it's played, you really can't get more physical. You can't up physicality, right? You're in there, whatever, regardless.
Stanley Cup's different.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother energy about it.
And I just think that being in I was kind of, I wasn't really too young, but I never went to, a Sabres playoff game. In the 05-06 run, I was too young. I was only, 7 years old then, so I didn't really get to go. But that is what I'm excited for. But outside of hockey, back to football, I want to talk a little bit about next season. And I'll tell you how I feel first. And my feeling has changed a little bit in the 20 or so minutes that we've already been sitting here talking. Just positive reinforcement. Like I said, I could be convinced anything.
I like it. We're trending up.
You gotta stop saying that. So
I can't. Andy.
Look out.
Yeah. I just think that and I've slowly but surely been talking myself into this season. A big thing I think that I've been telling myself is like, everybody's healthy to start the year. You know what I mean? Von's back. Trey's hopefully, the people have been saying that he's been bouncing around. Like, he's feeling good. He's feeling like himself. More mentally, I would say, even than physically, right? Like, a lot of people were kind of bagging on him, thinking that was the case, like that it was more of a mental block at a point rather than physical. But it's, whatever it is, regardless, it's a real thing that's preventing him from being able to play his game and not being confident. So hopefully he's feeling like that. I don't know. So that's what I've been trying to tell myself. Is like, our defense is going to be healthy. But I just feel like watching that Bengals game has such a sour taste in my mouth. Like, how it's made me lack confidence going into this season. Whereas last season, what was last year? After we lost to KC, right? With the 13, like, I was on top of the world. I'm like, we were 13 seconds away from winning a Super Bowl right there, right? So confidence is at an all-time high because of one play. But the getting, beat up by the Bengals offense, which, again, is a great offense, but they had an injured offensive line. So I really thought we were going to be able to dominate there, which we did not. And then our offense kind of laying an egg in what was the biggest game of the season, Yeah. It had me not as high on this coming season as I have been in the past.
Yeah, so let's start with the injuries thing. So, because that was the fact that this team won 13 games during the regular season and lost 3 games during the regular season by a combined 8 points after losing Micah Hyde week 2, Von Miller Thanksgiving. I'm not even going to.
Poyer was banged up.
Poyer was banged up. Josh played hurt. You get the point. The fact that we were able to win that many games with the amount of Trey White missed a lot more time than people were expecting. I don't want to say miracle, but it is a testament to McDermott. And it's a nice segue into the Bengals game and the people calling for McDermott's head after that. I get the whole playoff late game decisions or even just playoff. It seems like when the lights are the brightest sometimes with this Bills team, as has been the case for a while, they freeze up. And that's, I think, sometimes a little bit too much armchair GM, armchair coaching to some degree. There's definitely some things you can take away from talking more about the Bengals game, where you go back and you look, and there's no reason the corners should have been 10 yards away from the wide receivers in snow weather, where that quick passing game and Burrow just slicing and dicing, we were never going to stop them with that defensive game plan. And that's not me being an armchair coach. That's just like basic physics. Like, you can't be 10 yards away from a receiver and have Joe Burrow dinking and dunking on you all day. So to transition, to next season, and now Sean McDermott takes over the defensive play calling. I don't want a lot to change necessarily with this team. We're getting guys back. There needs to be some refinement, I think, in game situation, defensive play calling in the big moments. Vikings game is a great regular season example of that. Justin Jefferson shouldn't be catching a pass on 4th and 18 with one hand with a receiver already having 2 hands on the ball. I don't even blame that on the players so much. I think that's honestly a coaching thing. When that guy, I'm not even going to say it was Cam Lewis, not to call it Cam Lewis, whatever. Come on, man. That game, that was tough. Shout out Cam Lewis. He's a beast. UB. We still love the player. But I'm saying the coach, that's on the leadership, I think, you got to have your guys in the right place at the right time. And that can't happen. That can't happen on an NFL team, and that's a game right there. That's one example of, I think, just like late game stuff. So that's still, I guess, pessimism exists with me with this team and the coaching staff. I still think this is one of the best coaching staffs in the NFL. But it's like, can you take that next step in the playoffs when it matters most? Can you get hot at the right time? They're great. They've proved they can win in the regular season. That's not really up for debate anymore, and that's why this is a tough schedule. If they win 12 games, if they win 11 or even 10 games, and they get in the playoffs, if they're in the playoffs, let's see. That's when all eyes need to be on them. We're not. Von's getting back. I don't know if he'll be back week 1, but he's coming back, and they're going to have some pieces around both on defense and offense that they did not have most of the season and the playoffs last year. Really excited to see McDermott and Dorsey kind of put them into motion and see what they can do. Yeah, and that was a very long-winded answer. But I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, just sitting here listening to you guys talk makes me realize how little I know about football. Feels like I'm back in middle school listening to my English teacher, except neither of you guys have DUIs, as far as I know.
There you go. That's a big bonus.
But yeah, I'll
Shot. There's a wicked ricochet at your English teacher.
Well, so
Catching
here's
strays.
do you know what happened?
No.
So here's what happened, and I won't say names, obviously. But so my 8th grade English teacher a couple weeks ago got arrested, I guess, for driving drunk, and then they took him to the station, and their husband came to get him out, and the cops arrested the husband because he was also drunk driving from being at a different bar.
Love it.
Yeah, so they both got DUIs and I don't know,
The whole
got a head to say,
rigmarole.
yeah.
That's recent. I thought you were going to
Yeah,
say that.
that doesn't count. That doesn't count. They're not your 8th grade teacher anymore.
No, but there's
That's
something
true.
about that's even more
Yeah.
sobering and wow, there they go, getting busted.
Well, you know what? The pandemic hit us all hard. Things,
Clearly. It's
things
somehow
change.
harder than others.
But Joshy going out with Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah,
that's
we'll
all
touch
the
on
Bills
this.
news
We
that
should
I've been
touch on
seeing.
that.
I mean, what do you got to say about it? Not too much. I mean, good for him. Seems like.
Yeah. I'm a, yeah.
No good.
No.
Just because it's
Well-
too much in the public eye, or
Well,
what?
I have seen a few. There's been a few good clips lately, and it was Josh's interview from just a few weeks back. He was like, "I've never been so focused on
Yeah.
football."
Yeah.
And then this, but
It's
here's my opinion on it, and it might not be a good one, but what is Josh? 26 now?
I think he's 27.
27?
Man,
He's
time's
27. He's making $300 million,
flying. Yep.
and who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
As long as the dude comes out and performs,
Yep.
I could care less about what he does. I thought, the end of last season when people were saying there could still be some lingering effects from that elbow injury and stuff like that. I don't want to see necessarily that, Josh, but if he comes out slinging the football again, we know he can, I really could care less what he's doing. I don't
care less where he puts it.
Yeah, I mean, not even just all you have to do is go out there and perform on the football field.
Yeah.
Be a good guy, say hello to the people of Buffalo, you know what I mean? Don't get yourself in trouble. But you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me.
It just feels so crazy to me that we have a famous quarterback now. You know what I mean? A guy who's doing national commercials. When I saw Josh Allen doing Gillette commercials and stuff, I was like, oh shit, this is huge. And now he's going out with a movie star.
Yeah.
The
The Gillette commercials, I
Feels
was
weird.
suck it, Patriots fans.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I had the same
Yeah,
thought.
yeah.
I was
you guys.
I was actually
Finally.
I was actually a little bit reluctant to embrace those commercials at first because Gillette is
Sure. I'm
Boston
just happy
yeah.
for
run.
him, man.
It's all
I
about
mean,
Massachusetts.
Same
and-
But-
thing when he did the
Took him
Buffalo
over.
Wild Wings commercials.
Yeah.
It's
Come on.
but
Dude,
he's
see,
doing
but
national spots,
I
that's
still
cool.
I fuck with B-dubs Buffalo Wild Wings.
B-dubs.
Dude, I don't
guess
know,
so, but I think
I
I
haven't
lose
done
a
it in a
little
while,
respect for
but I
that.
think it's Thursdays. They used to do it was either Tuesdays or Thursdays. They would do BOGO boneless wings, and dude, BOGO boneless wings.
Bogo boneless.
Bogo boneless.
We're talking
I
Bogo
don't know.
boneless?
I'm talking BOGO boneless wings. I could get down with BOGO boneless wings any day of the week.
They did have their Parmesan garlic sauce or whatever it was really good. But that's another one of those places. The one that was closest to here is closed now, and nobody's bought that building because it's painted like a Buffalo Wild Wing. It's the same as when you pass by an old Taco Bell.
Yeah.
I love that.
Is it where is the one that's closed?
I was thinking of the Military Road one. That's one I was thinking of.
There was a Buffalo Wild Wings on Military Road.
Yeah, next to the Verizon store.
Man, now I want some B-dubs. You guys are
Dude, me
There
too.
you go.
I was just thinking, where can I get some fucking spicy chicken fingers right now?
I gotta add one. I just because this popped in my head. I'm deciding right now in this podcast. I'm gonna announce if the Buffalo Bills win the Super Bowl this year, I will go to the parade with a Haley Steinfeld jersey, and I don't know, something probably pretty ridiculous. Probably leggings on the bottom. Yeah, you know, I'll wear the, what do they call the Zumbas with the...
Oh, yeah.
Zuba leggings.
Yeah, I'll wear that with,
I'm in.
with the Steinfeld jersey.
I'll match.
If the Bills
That's
win.
I'll match.
Yeah. That's the queen. If
Yeah.
we win the Super Bowl, I mean, she's kind of
That's
like,
true.
that's our
Dude.
Buffalo
Ooh.
queen. If she,
Can we
if
get a
think
Haley
about that.
Steinfeld statue with
She-
the
oh,
Bills
my-
in the Super Bowl? Yeah, I'm in.
going through a table.
Yeah.
Josh throwing her through a table.
Josh Allen spiking Haley Steinfeld through a table.
Oh, we need
Dude,
that.
we need to get... We need to
Someone
get
needs to
them.
make
We gotta
that.
get our
art
Yeah,
folk
some
on
merch.
it.
Yeah.
I can't get hard unless I smash you through a table. That's the only way I can
Yeah.
finish.
Shit.
That's how you know he's a Buffalo boy.
It's great. Yeah, Haley Steinfeld.
But I am excited. I just... Dude, I love football. Football is...
You're the one, huh?
Dude, sitting there and watching football is like nothing else. Throwing on a little red zone, which I guess no free ads, but shout out to YouTube TV. I guess we're all gonna have to get YouTube TV now.
Like,
I
Some
guess
new
so.
deal
It's
with them?
inevitable. That and Peacock. I was gonna say we have to
Yeah.
get for the
Yeah,
the
that-
Chargers game.
which
At least we'll get
here's
to watch
the
The
thing.
Office.
Yes.
That'll be the only.
I see two very different sides of this. I get why people are a little bit outraged about it in the sense of like they're forcing you to buy a service to be able to watch a game. But on the flip side of it, like if you're the NFL, and I guess this is like look at Amazon Prime is the perfect example of that. Like I don't know the numbers, but I'm sure the NFL looks at the numbers before agreeing to something, regardless of how much money they're being offered. Like, do you have Amazon Prime? Did you have Amazon Prime before Thursday Night Football?
I think my parents had it.
Yeah.
So I just logged in on there.
That's kind of what I mean. Like, damn near everybody that I think I've ever met at this point in life either has Amazon Prime or like their family shares an Amazon Prime account.
You can always just like go to a bar too. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be on. Like that's always my safety. It's like okay, we'll
Yeah.
just get it so
Yep.
we don't- it's not
And
on
like
there.
that's my
The
thing with
wing
Peacock.
house in
Like,
Florida, that's where I used to have to go when I lived down there.
because
I'd have to walk to a wing house.
people used to still do in some states, like get pissed at cable stations
Oh,
for contract disputes with how they're going to watch. The NFL is not really a good example of that because they have so many national contracts, but the NHL is a great example of this because the MLB too, they still have so many local TV deals. There's not a league-wide full deal in place. So people still get mad at that stuff because they can't even watch their games because they're paying for cable in their home market. So it's not like this is a new thing where you're going to have to cough up money to buy something. It's just now people are kind of convinced that they're going to have to cough it up twice, which to me was why I loved, like I had Sling. I still have Sling, I should say, but I had Sling and I had the sports package, so I got Red Zone on Sling. But then I also got basic cable with it. Like, so I could watch, and I get TNT, TBS, all that stuff, so I can watch all of
That's
the
everything you
NHL
need right
games.
there.
Like, right? I don't know. So either way, like, just because it's not just on cable anymore, I feel like nothing's just on one thing anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't buy one service and watch every show you want to watch.
that's all we want
For sure.
Yeah, no, I
We
agree.
just,
Like that would be the ideal way to do it. But the problem is, realistically, if that were to be the case, if one service said we have everything you want, then what? They're going to charge $400 a month for it. You know what I mean? Like,
It's basically Hulu Live TV. I mean, that's
Yeah.
So no, not
which is
quite.
one thing
Yeah.
I don't have is Hulu Live
I got
TV.
that to try to do what you're describing, which was to get all the NFL games. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest, you do. I mean, I think it's something like $70 or $80 a month, but it is like it's most NFL games and all that other shit. that
Yeah.
you don't even
well,
really need. But
Hulu also has like I call it fake red zone. Do you know what I'm talking? Have you ever watched it on there? Because I know
Maybe.
somebody that has Hulu Live, and when I would watch NFL game, like NFL Sunday with them, if we were hanging out watching the slate, they would have that on in place of red zone. And I wouldn't say it's quite as good, probably because of the nostalgia factor. But there's some features that are actually nicer. Like they have a constant, like revolving like stat. What's it called?
A scroll?
No.
scoreboard.
Yeah, scoreboard.
out
Yeah,
of town-
scoreboard.
out of
Like a
town.
constant, revolving like stat out of scoreboard.
Out of town
I don't know.
scoreboard.
It's just like some different features, but I do love red zone. Like it's electric. But one thing I did learn, again, nobody gives a fuck, but I would have to, because I was streaming everything. So I'd be streaming like I got multiple TV setup going on in my living room. So like, let's say main TV, the Bills are playing at 1:00. So I've got CBS on up top. I've got whatever the next best game is, or like fantasy implications or gambling, whatever, maybe on another TV, and then Red Zone on a third. But if you're streaming all of them, sometimes Red Zone will actually be ahead of the games. So I would have to pause Red Zone, and usually for like the first 5 minutes of the game, I would leave Red Zone on pause, and then I would just play it from the pause point the entire time.
Smart.
Because it would drive me nuts. It would be like the first drive of a Bills game, 1:00 Bills game, and all of a sudden out of the corner of my eye, I'd be watching the play that like is
about
2
to
plays
happen.
in front of the game.
Yeah.
I'd get pissed. It would drive me nuts.
Well, that even like one year at Thanksgiving when we had people over, there wasn't enough space in the one room, so we had 2 TVs set up on opposite ends of the house,
Power
and one
play.
the stream was getting was a lot faster than the other, so we'd hear the one room like scream. And then we'd see the play happen, or we'd hear the one room go, "Fuck no!" And then we'd be like, "Oh shit, what's about to happen? I can't watch this."
coming up, yeah.
Yeah.
See, but something like that only matters if you don't have a good seat on the faster TV.
Yeah, there you go.
If you got a good seat in front
My
of the faster
God, dude,
TV, then
you are chilling.
Yeah.
You're living one step.
Man, you're like on Noah's Ark watching all the people drown, being like, "Learn how to swim, dude.
Yeah.
Build a
Listen,
boat.
yeah,
build a boat."
Fuck. Oh,
Heaven
yeah.
Almighty. There you go.
Heaven
Yeah,
Almighty.
Don't chilling with Steve Carell up there. You're not watching everybody drown.
Yeah, listen. But I have to say, I mean, I guess we'll kind of segue after this, but I am very, very excited for the Bills season. I think every time I get to see you like post something on Instagram or like have a conversation, I'm like, you know what? I'm all in. Like I'm back.
I'm
never
sold.
that I was never out, but maybe I wasn't quite as neck deep as I have been in past seasons this offseason, just because, like, again, of that Cincinnati game. But I think I'm all in now.
Yeah, and I generally keep it pretty positive on my account, so that can sometimes get misconstrued with me just being, I'm always all in on the Bills. And I'll be honest, the last couple seasons, given the talent that we've had and some of the moves that we've made, but mostly because of the quarterback we have, I've kind of just thought the sky is the limit. And again, I'm not saying that I'm not going to keep keeping it positive, because I think that's kind of where I found my groove, and I like just being that outlet for people. But I am going into this season, I'm projecting a few more losses, because I think I'm just being a little bit more real with how the NFL and the schedule plays out. And also just this super talented conference that we find ourselves in and division.
Right.
So
I don't know if you know anything about this, but I do like that they flip-flopped our Miami games, because we always played them in Miami early in the season and then in Buffalo late in the season, and it was always just this dynamic weather swing.
yeah.
But after what we saw last year, I think I'm happy that, and again, maybe that's recency bias, but what are we playing, week 18 this year?
I get what you're saying. That's actually a good point. So you're alluding to we're not going to have that
We're not going to have the 90.
We
Well,
had.
because like they say, that's the whole thing that they say with the Dolphins is, their sideline.
The way they have that stadium.
The way the
set up.
stadium
so
setup
messed
is-
up. That's like dangerous.
That's very like old school sports
I fucking
thing.
love
though.
it. If
Yeah,
it
I
wasn't
kinda
the
do
Dolphins,
too.
I would love it.
Yeah, like
but it's the Dolphins.
It's like,
no,
it's
hear
like
you say.
when the Lakers would like go to Boston or in like the 80s or something, people would find out what hotel the team was staying at and then like make the fire alarm go off all night in the hotel. It's like that kind of
Dude, like
just messing with them.
Do you remember that documentary that was all the rage for a while? Maybe not for you, but for me.
Remember that documentary I watched by myself?
It was one of those. It was called Crime and Penalties, right? It was that.
Oh, the hockey one.
The hockey one
Yeah,
about the Danbury Thrashers.
Yeah.
And they were doing shit like that. Like the equipment manager was putting like dead fish in like the air conditioning vents of the away locker room and stuff like that.
That I find funny.
Dude,
I would
like,
say than the
fuck yeah.
heat stroke sideline. I was gonna
Yeah.
say that's actually, I don't know. I just really quickly want to bring up the fact that I think a lot of Bills fans got lampooned for the snowball thing. Some people I just saw like freaking the F out. My dad definitely wasn't a fan, but he wasn't like, F the Bills fans. Is there no like I don't even want to say like correlation, but our players, like we had like 4 guys like pass out during the game.
from heat
like,
stroke.
is that-
Yeah.
I know it's not the fans, but it's like the same kind of like concept, like the whole player safety, and a lot of fans getting butthurt about it's like they're snowballs. Like, let's all.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill's out there. He's done some stuff a little worse than throwing a snowball. That's who we're throwing the snowball at. So I just think like context matters a little bit. I just quick snowball rant.
I was also at that game.
Nice.
And we talked about this last week, but like I'm a rule follower. Like I'm not throwing snowballs, and I don't necessarily. I'm not going to publicly say that I condone other people throwing snowballs, but I didn't think that it was that big of a deal. Like, dude,
it wasn't.
Dude, like there's just so many things that go into it that led up to that game too. Where like fucking, I get.
Jets fans were doing the two of hands at the game.
Yeah.
I don't understand how like no one talks about that though. There's videos of that.
That's interesting.
I get if people were throwing like ice, but it had just snowed. And like I don't remember what it was, but in the past 48 hours,
fresh
it
pow,
was
man.
fresh,
it was crisp.
dude. Like up in the bins, up in the 300s, there was nothing was shoveled because they didn't have time to get all the snow out of there. So not only where you were standing, there was like 2.5 foot of fresh snow, but on the seats there was 2.5 feet of fresh snow. So you couldn't even sit down. You were stomping snow down just to be able to stand where you wanted to stand. Like when you give people all that access to snow at a night game,
it's putting Legos in front of you, being like, "Don't do anything with these," or putting toys in front of you, like, "Don't play with these."
It's a big red button that says, "Don't push it."
Yeah. Or Big Cat on part of my take. He's like, it's like putting a full beer underneath your stand, saying, "Please don't drink this."
Yeah.
And also, that was up on it was saying, "Please stop throwing snowballs."
Well,
please.
and like this is the thing.
That's funny.
I don't know. I do know because it happened. It happened in a basketball game recently. I think
what
that not snowballs. No, that
they brought their own from home.
I think
a
team got a technical, like a bench technical, because of the crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
They were gonna throw. Yeah, they were gonna have a penalty on the Bills. If like,
they kept saying that. Yeah. But dude, when I was at that game, there's literally 2 Dolphins fans, and they were actually good dudes. Like we were,
but they were throwing
playful
snowballs.
banter. Well, they weren't. But that was our conversation. Is like they kept saying they're gonna give the Bills a penalty. Like, how can you prove who's throwing these snowballs? Like these 2 dudes. If I was them, I would have fucking elf mode, robot arm style. Like, oh my god, I would have been letting them fly.
Yeah, no, I would have if the roles were reversed, and obviously it's not snowing in Miami, but if we're playing New England or something, and it's snowing or something,
and like
Patriots, I would definitely throw snowballs.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would just say that.
Mac Jones?
Did you see that? Did you see like something kind of not? I guess similar happened at that Phillies game. Did you see this?
Phillies or is it?
I thought it was the dollar hot dog thing.
Maybe.
Was it the Phillies?
This is ringing a bell.
Dude, okay, I think it's the Phillies.
Now you say dollar hot dog, I'm paying attention.
Yes. So I'm like 70% sure it was the Phillies.
We'll take that.
Yeah, we'll take 70.
It's
but regardless, it was an MLB team, and they did dollar hot dog night. And the number of hot dogs they sold over 60,000 hot dogs. Like it was a nuts stat.
Gross amount of hot dogs.
And it got to a point in the game where it was like late in the game, like one of the last few innings, and I don't think it was that they ran out, but I think they stopped selling the dollar hot dogs at that point. But there was this guy who was like trying to like go for a record how many hot dogs he could eat, and he was like putting up wicked numbies. So the crowd gets word of this guy, and he was out of hot dogs, and they weren't selling any more hot dogs. But everybody had pocket dogs because they probably when they went up to the concession once and waited in like the hour line, they probably bought 20 hot dogs. Yeah, so people started gunning hot dogs at this guy. So it turns out I'll find the video. It turns into a hot dog like fight in the whole stadium. Hot dogs are just, dude. I can't believe that happened in Philly of all places. Who could have guessed, dude? And not only did it happen, and people on Twitter were like, some people were like kind of outraged on it. Not only did it happen, but the Phillies were like, yeah, we have like 5 more $1 hot dog night games planned this year, and we're not fucking canceling them. Like we're keeping them there.
Man. I love
Philly
that.
strong, baby.
I love that energy.
Yeah, that's as Philly as it gets, dude. That's gonna become a national holiday. That's gonna be like in Spain when they throw the tomatoes at everybody or whatever. They have that big tomato fight. That's gonna be in Philly. Dude. From the Rocky Steps, everybody's just gonna be whipping down I don't know what kind of hot dogs
Dude,
they get
God.
there. Definitely not Salen's.
Joey Chestnut going to start showing up at those games. That's going to be it's going to be a whole thing in Philly. Damn. Yeah. That's what they do.
Yeah.
They lose another Super Bowl and they start hot dogging it up. That's
Yeah, dude.
that's something. Oh, here we go.
Oh, this
Is this really?
is a great video. Yeah, it is the Phillies. This is. I don't know if you can see, but like there is just hot dogs being exchanged everywhere. That's, I'll find some better content.
You're like, everyone's got pocket dogs.
Oh, here we go. I think this is the video I saw. I wish we could have this on a big screen. Like, look at this guy.
Would've been a
Like,
good day
dude,
for
people
a
are
lap.
just from everywhere are just eating hot dogs at this guy.
Philadelphia, PA, baby.
I don't know if you can see like hot. Is there just mad hot dogs flying?
Yeah, it looks kind of like snowballs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, yeah,
Dude,
that's wild.
and people were loving it.
Yeah,
like
let's go. We're
that
not
seems like an
canceling
electric crowd.
Dude, that's what I was getting ready to do at that Sabres game.
Yeah,
when I
that's
bought
true.
all those hot dogs, I had my hot pockets full of hot dogs. I paid full price for them, like a chump, I guess. But I was like,
Yeah.
Sabres would score, and I'd be like,
Let's go.
Well, I did. Well,
get them.
I was also at that Sabres game, and I was going to the concessions, and I was going to get a hot dog.
Yeah.
And I had, like, as a season ticket member, you get, like, $2 off a hot dog or something like that. Like, they're a little cheaper. So I'm like, oh, I know Andrew's going to want hot dogs. I bought, like, 6 or 8 hot dogs. And I come back with a tray full of hot dogs, and Andrew also had a tray full of hot dogs.
Yeah, let's
So, like, we had,
stuff.
Right.
yeah,
Oh, here we go.
not on Dollar Dog Night. We had a plethora, which the Sabres used to do. I think it was like $2 dogs at the end of the season every once in a while. And our dad and I would always go, and I would go and I would get 5 or 6 hot dogs for sure.
Gotta love it,
Dude.
First
Tradition
time
like
I
no
ever
other.
had a Nathan's hot dog was in Brooklyn. Matthew was on this travel soccer team, and I don't know if you
We went early.
Were
'cause
you
we
going for a game?
Well, we had a tournament in like Watertown, I think, which is maybe close to New York
got
City.
it.
But we were going up early because at the time, Uncle Jack lived in Brooklyn still, and we were going to. It was the last year of the original Yankee Stadium, so we were going to a Yankees game. at Yankee
The soccer
Stadium.
team got tickets to go to the game, so we get there early. We see, we're staying at our Uncle Jack's house, and we're with our mom, and she's like, I got to do something with the kids, so she brings us to Nathan's for lunch, and I had 2 hot dogs there, and I was like, these are incredible. And then we get to Yankee Stadium, and they sell Nathan's at Yankee Stadium. I had 12 Nathan's hot dogs that day.
You were set.
I put them down, man. It's one of my fondest memories.
How did that feel?
Sitting, I don't.
Yeah,
I
next
think
day
they were
must have
playing.
been tough.
I mean, I was young, so like
Your
a
body
champ.
could handle it.
Yeah, exactly. I could handle
Imagine-
it back
yeah.
then, dude. I think I could still do it. Ben from one of the other podcasts that we do here, he there was that thing maybe it was going around on the internet, but the Faz who he does the podcast with was asking him like how many hot dogs he thought he could put down in like a couple minutes, and he said like 18, and I was like, yeah,
No
I think I
bun?
could do that too. Even with bun,
No
if you
way.
get
How many minutes, dude?
I could do 10.
I'll tell you what. No, dude. You should enter that hot dog eating contest.
I would love to.
There's
I would
a
love
hot
to.
dog eating contest in Lewiston last summer. One of my buddies entered it, and we went and they have an outdoor bar. Like we pre-gamed the event. It was a fantastic day, and I'll tell you what. It looked difficult.
Yeah.
Like I think he finished in second place, and I don't even think he hit double-digit dogs.
Yeah,
I think it was 10
I
minutes.
remember.
Really?
10 minutes?
Yeah.
Really?
10 minutes is not that long to get that many dogs.
No,
down.
but it all depends on the kind of bun. Because if you get the type of bun that they have at like the Sabres
No, it was-
games, like you can. I mean, the bun and the hot dog are basically the same thing at that point. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
if
but
you get that.
I
you
think
just
it's
stuff
still.
them down.
But like you could just start.
It's like a
swallow-
sausage
but
roll,
You could,
then that's-
no,
that shouldn't
it's
even be
standard
fair.
bun. It was all. It was all above board. It was legitimate. Like they had. Yeah. But I
It
think.
was standard bun.
Yeah, standard bun.
No.
Yeah, ballpark bun. It was ballpark bun.
It was regulation.
That's
But
complicated.
No,
I
but
don't know.
here's the thing: like if you're eating a hot dog without a bun, like you could bite a chunk off and swallow it like a pill. You can't do that with bread. You'll just either choke
true.
or die.
Put me in,
not
coach.
gonna be it.
Give
Yeah.
me. Wait till you see me in the ring.
No,
man.
I'll find out when it is. We'll get
I'm the
you in this
Adonis
year. We'll get
Creed
you
of
in.
hot
We'll
dog
get you in.
eating.
We'll get you in.
I would love to.
Yeah, we'll
I remember, 'cause I
cook
remember
something
that.
up. Now my brain's cooking.
Yeah.
Now my brain's cooking.
'Cause I know I could eat it. Like that 9 beers, 9 dogs, 9 innings thing. Like no fucking problem, dude.
Dude,
So easy.
I've
that's
seen
not
you.
that
I don't think I've ever seen you finish 9 beers in your life.
Well, the beer part is not for me. But like, let's say we could do it. like we could like let's say if we
Without the beers, then it's not the challenge.
right. I know. Fair enough.
I would do that. I'm fired up. That is an I haven't heard that. 9
Oh
beers,
yeah,
9
nine
yeah.
beers,
It was
9
going
dogs,
around.
9 innings. Yeah,
wild.
It's got to be getting a phone call from Los Angeles, California.
L.A.
Harvey Weinstein.
What if
you better pick it up.
What if that's
You
my
don't wanna
next,
get mad.
Yeah, what if that's my call? What if that's me hitting?
Hey,
big
we
right
need
there?
you to be the
W.
new Flash because Ezra Miller's kidnapping kids left and right.
All right, sure. Let's do who win of the week.
Okay, the who would win of the week this week is Dog the Bounty Hunter versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Is this a white trash battle royale? Unintentional white trash battle of the century?
I gotta look up some numbies.
I'm the dog. Yeah, I'm a big dog guy. I was telling you guys that was last minute.
Did you watch his show?
Yeah, a lot growing up.
Really?
Which explains a lot of the troubling issues that are deep rooted. No, but it's a great. I liked the show growing up. I was probably too young when I started watching it, like 10. And they're like, yeah, he's going around, he's hunting people down with the energy of a cop, even though he's not really. I mean, he's law enforcement, but and then there's always just the hey, you want to smoke at the end of the day. So I love Dog, but I think Stone Cold. You know,
Dude.
who would win? I think I like Dog more, but if it's
Yeah.
who would win, I mean, I don't know,
I don't know, man, because once Dog gets a scent,
oh, true.
he's not backing down.
He always
buddy.
has mace.
Yeah.
That's a thing. He's
a-
always mace.
I'll tell you
But
what.
if anybody could get through a mace spray to the
mace
face of
doesn't
Stone
affect
Cold,
Cold.
just
Yes.
boom, boom,
Yes.
Mace,
whatever.
Mace,
He'd take
yeah.
2 cans of mace and do that. It'd be
Yeah,
fine.
Mace
He
don't-
drinks mace
Dude,
for breakfast.
Yeah.
The numbies that I'm looking at right now
Oh, boy.
have already skewed this fight heavily. If you had to guess how tall you think Doug the Bounty Hunter is,
I think he's a shorty, dude.
What do you got?
I'm gonna
Put a
say
number on it.
I'm gonna realistically, I'm gonna say 5'4" for Dog the Bounty Hunter.
5'10".
dude, 5'4" is so small.
Yeah,
Take
that's
another guy.
I was gonna say 5'2".
What? 5'10" is what I'm going with.
Which is like average height though.
I just
right?
think
What do you got?
he seems taller than he is.
I think he's short. I think he's
5'4".
I guess what did I? Yeah, I
What
guess
is he,
I'll say
Kevin
5.
Hart? What are you doing?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm bad at height. I'll say 5'6".
He's 5'7".
Okay.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, he's short.
You win that even with the
And
5'4".
Stone
Price
Even
is
with the
right,
5'4",
Price
you were
is
just
right.
as far away as I
6'2".
was.
Stone Cold
was
is
just-
6'2".
Okay.
Yeah, wrestlers are fucking big, man.
Stone Cold. So it really is. I mean, we think Stone Cold can get past the mace. Dog has other tricks up his sleeves,
Sure.
though. He has the "you want to smoke, bro." He might be able to win Stone Cold over with that. The softer side. He has the pepper gun. He'll break out. Dog does. Yeah, but I don't know. Stone Cold is a force.
That's very true. He's a force to be reckoned with. What are you thinking?
This might be a
Dude,
round.
this is no disrespect. This is disrespect, but
Well, with the
5'7"
I didn't know he was
mullet, though?
5'7".
Does that include the mullet?
5'7"
What's the mullet?
is
I
so
never
small.
would-
What's
I
his
never
mullet
would've
If I
guessed.
see somebody that's 5'7", they're instantly not a threat.
I don't even see people.
I
that
never
are
would've
5'7",
guessed
'cause I just
5'7".
look right over them.
Dude, 5'7" is small.
Yeah.
They all are. I never would have guessed that. I just never would have guessed 5'7".
The camera adds 2
You
inches.
know what?
Yeah.
He kind of carries himself like a shorter dude to me.
Okay.
Like
It's that big mullet. I don't know. It's that.
That's what I'm saying. Does
I
that
went as him for
include the
Halloween.
mullet?
It was a good time, and then the next year I had basically the same costume ready. I'm like, "What's up, Billy the Exterminator? We might as well
Nice.
just double down and grab a little have a heart trap."
How old were you when you
young?
dressed
I
as
was
Dog the Bounty
probably
Hunter?
10 or 11.
That's hilarious,
and
man.
it's great because I was going around the neighborhood and like none of the kids knew who I was,
you
and
were
I would get to
probably-
the houses and the
You were
parents.
probably taller than him at the time, too. They're
I guess
"Is that
so,
Doug
yeah.
the Bounty Hunter, but taller?
I had an early growth spurt. I might have been just about as tall as Dog. That was.
What are you supposed to be
Jeez.
for Halloween? Doug the
5'7".
Bounty Hunter on stilts?
You know,
There you go.
I think Dog would really I think Stone Cold would pummel Dog, but Dog's gonna get back up every time.
Yeah,
I mean he's
that's
got
true.
the spirit of Beth in him as well.
Oh,
like
jeez.
he can't. That's his wife who
true.
passed away.
Didn't know.
Yeah,
He does.
I'm taking.
He just
I'm
doesn't-
taking-
he just doesn't give up.
I like that.
I'm taking Stone Cold.
Dog
Like,
always gets his man, except for when he doesn't. But most of the time, you know,
Pretty much always gets his man.
yeah.
I'm taking Stone Cold Steve.
I'm gonna roll with my guy. I'm gonna roll with Dog. I think Dog gets it done.
You know what? I'm going Dog.
Dog wins
I'm
in the
going
upset.
Dog too. He's a scrapper, man.
There's no integrity in this game.
No,
I say it every
dog.
week.
It's dog because
Stone Cold
he's
Steve
put
Austin.
in the time on the streets. And Stone Cold, he's a big guy.
Stone's an actor
fighter.
more than he's a fighter, but isn't it all fake?
Yes,
Yeah,
but
but
it's
that's
still
a physically
super
demanding-
physical. It's too
physically
crazy.
Dogs
demanding
out there in the
position.
fucking real world dealing with
yeah,
It's fighting,
I'm
fighting for every
sure-
meal, baby.
I'm
It
sure,
gets
I'm sure
crazy.
his TV show wasn't fucking enhanced at all.
It gets wild up there.
You ever
in
seen the
bumfuck
show South
Colorado.
Beach Toe? That's pretty much
That's,
what fucking
no, okay,
Doug was
no.
running.
South Beach Toe, that was a league of its own, dude.
Dude,
That was
I
like
didn't
clearly
know that-
scripted.
I did well when I watched this
Dude, that
child. I
bitch
didn't
fell
know.
out of the
All right,
parking garage.
Time out.
I love
Dude.
the dog one. I just want to say.
Vote on that on Friday on Instagram.
She
Who
fell
won of
2
the week?
stories.
That's bullshit. Stone Cold Steve Austin deserves to win this fight. Fuck Doug.
My
think
Buff
it's dog,
Mafia
man.
people, you vote for dog because you know
Fuck Doug.
he's the dog. He's the
dog.
Dude,
got that
South
dog
Beach,
in
I
him.
did not. I would
Yeah.
like. I did not know that South Beach Toe was fake until I was an adult.
I didn't either. I didn't know it until whenever we.
Until like
the
now
first
that
time
the
we talked about
now
it.
that
Emily
the
might have
clips
told me it was fake.
now that
actually.
the clips go viral,
Yeah.
I understand that it's
Starts
definitely
acting
fake.
that woman fell out of like from 2 stories of a
Bernice?
parking garage. Yeah.
Dude, she was a legend.
Yeah, she really. I wonder what that.
I hope she got a bag
Because she
for that.
wasn't. Yeah, there's no way she did though.
No.
But I wonder what she's doing now. Because if she obviously was just like a paid actress, like she's
Probably-
going an audition. She gonna be in the. She gonna be in the
Probably
next MCU
Towing
movie.
cars.
What's
Like
the
she
deal?
probably was
MCU.
towing cars.
Basketball coach.
Is she really? Oh,
Okay.
Emily's kept tabs on Bernice.
Wow.
Really?
Wait, did you say high school basketball coach?
Well, girls basketball.
That's not a real job though. So
Oh.
she's. So well, gym teacher. Okay, that's different.
That's-
then.
She's a gym
Getting
teacher?
there.
That's not bad.
I wrote a picture of her as a gym teacher, I guess.
I kind of
Sorry for.
would. You know.
Yeah, I suppose.
Put up, go toe to toe with Candy Cane. That was the name of our elementary school gym teacher.
Dude, now that's a gym teacher right there.
That's a gym
She
teacher.
was a
Kane
gym
is her
teacher.
name.
Candy Cane.
That's
Candace.
ridiculous.
Now
Oh my
she could
gosh.
eat Dog the Bounty Hunter for breakfast.
Dude.
She was.
Oh, she would fuck somebody up.
she
Her
was
name
at
was
least
Candy
six-
Cane.
Her
Is
name
that
was Candy
Dude.
Were her
Cane.
parents
And-
crackheads? What the hell?
Dude, she was taught. She grew up with the name Candy Cane. You know what I mean?
yeah,
like
yeah,
she
yeah.
was fucking nails.
Molded
She
her.
was.
It's
I
like
mean,
boy named Sue. Like
Literally,
you know.
yeah, that's a great example.
She
of
was
it.
6'7". She could fry an egg just by staring
She
at it.
looked like an athlete too.
She wore like the full on retro windbreaker Reebok full jumpsuits every day.
There we go.
Dude, they were
Dude,
fucking sick.
I saw
Yo,
her
she was
like
cool as
She
fuck.
was 6'7".
Not literally. She
Okay,
was probably,
I didn't
yeah.
know.
She was probably 6 foot. She was probably 6 foot.
Like, what the hell?
Um,
6'7"? Where'd you find this?
She
Yeah.
was for sure an athlete.
She had hands the size of fucking claws in the claw machine.
Yeah, now you're making shit up.
Yeah, she could. She
But she could fucking Jake
dude,
the Snake
she
for the rest of them.
and this she was like old school gym teacher as well. Like there was this, they'd make you just like run laps around the gym sometimes, and dude, there was this one kid. She was like throwing shoes at him, and like calling him fat because he was going too slow.
Because I don't know if
What the
I don't know if this
hell?
was standard practice, but they always had the shoe bin.
Yeah,
Like, if
'cause
you didn't
people
have
weren't wearing
sneakers
shoes
on-
that were like appropriate for gym.
Yeah.
There was this big cardboard box in like the stock room that had a bunch of like sneakers
Yeah.
in it. So you'd like find a gross pair of shoes,
Yeah.
so you could like run. So there was no getting out of gym.
I didn't think that's where you guys were going with that. You're
Yeah.
like, I don't know if this was standard. We had the shoe bin for just throwing at students.
But that's what you get the
bin.
shoes.
that's
that's
why
shoes
they
came
were
from.
out.
Turned into the shoe.
Yeah.
Remember that set that you just
Yeah,
had
she
those
literally,
for throwing
like-
at people?
Trying to knock
great.
down cans at a county fair, man. But she was
Candy cane.
Candy
I'm
cane,
not
yeah,
even
I
really
mean-
buying. I don't even know if I fully.
Yeah,
Her
like
name was
looking back
Candy
on it,
Cane.
I probably don't either. Probably same thing as South Beach Doe. She made that name up for herself, but I'm pretty sure that was her real name.
But I
Like,
believe you. Candace is a name. and
Yeah,
you-
like I
and
think that I
that's
think that was I
wild.
think that was as real as it comes.
That's
she.
We
would've
had
been a
all
great pro
we
wrestler.
had all I think we had all female gym teachers at that
no
school.
Harry Boutte.
that's hot. Oh, that's hotter.
Oh, I just thought of another one too.
Yeah, that other guy, but his name wasn't as funny as the other two.
But I don't think he was there for that long.
No,
I never
no,
had
no.
him as a gym teacher.
But we had Harry Butt and Candy Cane. Those were our gym teachers.
That's intense.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
Jeez,
It's
that's
a
like
TV show. That's Ned's the
right out
Classified
of-
School Survival
Yeah,
Guide.
Really was.
Really?
We were living it. We were living
Yeah.
it. Dude, those guys have a podcast now. Every single I think it's one network, like one podcast network has given a podcast. The three people from Even Stevens have a podcast. Ned's Declassified has a podcast. Wizards of Waverly Place has a podcast that's just the dad and the best friend, which is super
That's
weird. There's a couple,
really weird.
That's a very
That's bizarre. I know Always Sunny.
Always
I caught
Sunny,
some
yeah.
clips of that. That's actually kind of funny.
Oh yeah, they have a pretty good podcast.
That's got some,
Dude, that show is so funny.
so good. The real estate.
Dayman is the greatest play maybe ever written. They
Best
should bring that
Christmas
to Broadway.
special of all time, without a doubt.
And fuck, dude, what is that game they play? Charlie McDeidre,
Yeah.
dude,
Such a good
just
show.
so fucking
So
funny.
fucking funny.
It's just great they can do whatever they want over there, you know.
Yeah.
And honestly,
the early episodes. They definitely
That,
couldn't do that nowadays.
oh, dude.
Holy shit. they push
painting
it.
that baby black, so that's so funny.
Unreal. There's some moments. There's definitely some. My favorite is definitely, it's one of the ones that goes around, is the Honey and Vinegar Realty, where it just kind of speaks to, they think they can pick up any profession and then just pick it up right away. It doesn't matter, with no training or anything. Like, we can do that. Like, they start their own. What do real estate agents really do? They put on some clothes, walk around a house, it's like, and then it's just an absolute mess. What a good show.
Shout out to FX or FXX though, man, because they seem to be the only one that's really, as far as like the, cable networks that are like still doing original programming, because they have Always Sunny, of course, Dave. They had Atlanta,
Love
which
Dave.
only like just ended. And if you think about, we talk about the USA Network shows nonstop, but like there was a period of time where, I guess probably spurred on by like Breaking Bad, because AMC had like a bunch of
Walking
huge
Dead.
hits. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So then all those cable networks were doing that. Comedy Central is a perfect example, right? Because now South Park is like the only show that they actually have on there, and that's been like grandfathered in, obviously, and the rest it's just like Office reruns. And now they have Seinfeld reruns, which is cool, but like they used to have like pretty good stuff on Comedy Central, and now there's like nothing on there, man.
American Dad, I feel like.
Yeah,
Family Guy.
I love
ripped that on.
Colbert Report in its prime. It was so funny.
dude,
Or
that show was so
Tosh
good.
Point oh.
The word. Oh my
And
gosh.
the soup. The soup was
The
good
soup
too.
was on E. I love
Yeah.
the
I
soup.
forgot
But
about
dude,
Tosh Point oh.
Again,
Oh.
another show that they just let it
Iconic.
fly.
Yeah, and that's
They
that's a thing where like they let him do whatever he wanted, because he was bringing so many eyes to that network, and dude, that guy made so much money off of that show. He doesn't have to do it. I think he
Tosh
still
is hanging.
tours a
He
little
was
bit.
Yeah, 'cause he likes to
He
do
was a
stand-up.
great stand-up, which I think he still is.
a
Like
little
when he
bit.
does it a little bit, but like, yeah, he was super funny. He was on top
Actually,
of
he's
the
definitely
world for a
still doing
minute.
it. Yeah, because I've seen he was gonna come to Sarasota not too long ago.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I wanted to see
yeah.
him, and then so he's hilarious. Yeah, Tosh, man,
Tosh
one of the all
Point oh.
times. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Ridiculousness came in. That's another show. That's MTV.
Which they still do that though, right?
That's all. That's kind of the same thing as South Park. Like, that's all they play on MTV is
Right.
Ridiculousness, and then they'll do like
But they're still making new
Floribama
episodes of
Shore,
that, right?
and probably.
Okay.
Which I wish they would fucking play reruns of Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory, because
Right.
that show is unbelievable. I actually went as far as to buy MTV TV for like a month because I wanted to watch Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory, and they only had like one season on there, and then it didn't matter anyway. So
You gotta check out Paramount Plus now.
I have Paramount Plus. Do they
well,
have it?
Well, it's a Viacom property, so those are all on.
Dude.
Those are all on there.
I thought about buying season 2 on Amazon, which I've done with like multiple shows.
Yeah, I had to do that.
Like
with
if
a
it's
couple
too
shows.
inconvenient for me to watch,
Another
I'm like,
Comedy
dude, I'll
Central
just
show,
fucking buy a
Detroiters.
season.
You ever hear of this show, Detroiters? It's got the
Sam's
guy.
favorite show, right?
I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson.
Love it.
Yes, I was watching because the new season came out today. I watched a couple episodes of it already.
I know what I'm doing when I get home there. I think you should leave.
He had a show with Sam Richardson, who on that show he's the guy who he hosts the Baby of the Year sketch.
Yep.
So that dude, he and Tim Robinson had a show on Comedy Central for 2 seasons called Detroiters, where they owned like their own local advertisement company, and it's one of my favorite shows of all time.
I'm gonna give it a watch.
It is.
I love Tim Robinson.
It's so funny, dude. Like I can sum up the whole kind of like comedy of the show right here. There's this scene, it might even be in the first episode, where they walk into this bar that they go to, and they're like 2 beers, and the bartender goes, hot or cold? And they're like, cold. And then they do like a whole scene, and at the end of the scene, you look down, and the bartender's giving some old alcoholic man a steaming hot pint glass of beer. It's like that's the kind of jokes on that show, and it's so it was perfect, and it was God, I love that show. And then Comedy Central just fucking canceled it because they fucking sucked. But now, I mean, it's the best sketch show. It's one of the best sketches of all time, without a doubt.
Where can you watch
I know it might be on Paramount Plus, but I
on.
bought the seasons on Amazon because I mean, a couple years ago because I had to watch it. It's so funny. I'm not going to say anything else about it because I don't want to spoil it, but it's the best show. It's the best show. It's so good.
You got anything else on Detroiters?
No, just that I love it. Just that I love it so much.
All right, before we get out of here, a few things. This one's going to put you on the spot.
Do it.
We talked about it a little bit. You know, we talked about this coming season a little bit, but record prediction. What's your prediction on the season as a whole? Where do we finish in the division? Where do we finish in the AFC? What's the record? What's our last game of the season?
I'll give you the whole rundown minus what I think is going to be the conclusion, just because playoffs are so
inconsistent.
But I'm gonna give you my quick rundown. So I think the Bills are going to win 12 games this year, and I think they're going to drop about 5. And I say about 5. I think they might even drop one more in there, just because there's always a Jacksonville game. There's always a Zach Wilson Jets game last year. I think we're going to go 12-5. I think we're going to lose to 2 divisional opponents. And I'm thinking it's going to be the Dolphins and the Jets again once each. And I'm saying that mainly because I just think those teams are good. Those are good teams. I don't think they're on the Bills level, but divisional games, you never know.
Yep, I agree with that. So, well, not the wins lost, but divisional games you never. Bet
he's like we're winning. We're sweeping the division again. And I'd love to go 6-0 in the division again. A couple years ago, we kind of almost take it for granted because I think the Bills did it back-to-back years when Josh was. I think it was sophomore year in his third. Bottom line is we've had some good track record with the AFC East recently. Even last year, we still went 4-2 in the AFC East. But this is a great schedule. A great schedule in that it's difficult, but it's going to be exciting. It's Eagles bye week Chiefs. I mean, what the heck? I don't know what the schedule makers. That's just a fun little stretch right there with the bye week. But you open with the Jets. I guess my outlook, thinking more football-y wise, I'm really excited to see weapons not named Stephon Diggs catch passes from Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. And that's including Gabe Davis, who I think played banged up a decent amount of last year, a guy who he's caught some strays from the Mafia, but I think overall is just a very well-liked guy by the team and by a lot of fans alike. I love the dude. I hope they're able to figure out something long-term for him because I just think he's awesome with that team and the person he is. And then after Davis, it's kind of which one of these either young, unproven, or new guys steps up and fills out the production from the wide receiver position. And that could be a combination of Hardy. It could be a combination of Sherfield, Andrew Sherfield, who we just signed, Khalil Shakir, who showed a lot of promise last year as a rookie with the Bills. And then I mentioned the rookie Justin Shorter this year, the 5th-round pick, a guy who I think is going to make the team based off special teams abilities. We'll see if he can do anything on offense. Obviously, the tight ends. Really excited to see what Knox and Kincaid can do as far as just being another weapon for Josh, and that's all great. But that wide receiver position, really hoping Davis steps up, but it's going to come down to, I think, the season and the offensive production is going to weigh a lot on receivers not named Diggs. And maybe Kincaid and Knox help a little bit of that pressure come off Diggs as far as making secondaries account. And then I'll just touch really quickly defensively. Like what they did with the offensive line, signing Poona Ford, a guy who has started every single game for the Seahawks the last 2 seasons at defensive tackle. A lot of Bills fans don't know his name because he's playing on the opposite end of the country, but space eater, more than productive player, guy who's going to get playing time. The defensive line, solid. Don't love the depth, but like who we have, especially Von Miller coming back. Greg Rousseau, potential breakout year 2. You still got Boogie Basham, AJ Epinesa. Losing Edmonds sucks at linebacker, but Milano's your guy at linebacker. We knew that. You bring in Dorian Williams, a guy who I loved coming out. Tulane ran a very similar defensive system there in college to what the Bills run. And then secondary-wise, you got Elam. You got Benford coming back, who showed a ton of promise as a rookie before the oblique injury. 2 young, long, athletic corners that they can mold in that system. The all-pro bros on the back end, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. And then I think Taylor Rapp is a starting safety. 90% of NFL clubs, maybe even 99% of NFL clubs, not name the Bills because we have 2 absolute studs in the back end. Taylor Rapp was an unreal signing, especially considering what we signed him for, 1-year prove-it deal. excited to see what he can do in this offense. Or excuse me, on this team and on this defense. Even as a rotational guy, you never want to root for injuries, knock on wood, but if one Micah Hyde or Jordan Poyer have to miss a game or two, Bills fans don't need to. They just do not need to be worried. Now, obviously, season ending, that's different. You never want to see that, and you don't want to see injuries in general. But Taylor Rapp, you can't get too much better as far as a third safety than that. So super excited for the team and the outlook for 2023.
So at 4-2, do the Bills win the division?
Yes, I think they're going to win the division. So let's talk about like how that rounds out. So 12-5 is going to be, I think, our record. I think we're going to have a 4-2 divisional record. I don't see the Dolphins or the Jets winning more than 11 games. You know, I think they can each win between 10 and 11 games, maybe 12. But again, I don't see them having maybe a better divisional record than us. 4-2 is still a pretty solid divisional record. Even if the Dolphins or the Jets manage to win 12 games, I could still see one of them dropping a game to the Patriots just because I don't see us losing to the Patriots. I think our talent is so superior to them. I don't see us losing them this season, but who knows? That's why they play the games. I could see the Jets slipping to the Patriots. I could see the Dolphins. The Dolphins are such a wild card with 2-2. You know, I could see them maybe slip into the Patriots. So I think we win the division. I think, 12 games is something that should not be something the Bills fans get too discouraged about. It's a tough schedule. The losses that I do foresee, just to break those down, so I think I see us losing Jets, Dolphins. I do have us beating the Chiefs. I don't have us losing to the Chiefs in the regular season. For whatever reason, the last couple seasons, Josh Allen and Sean McDermott have Mahomes and Andy Reid's number in the regular season. I don't know why. Playoffs is a different story. That's another monster. But I do see us losing to the Bengals. I think they're a more talented team, a more physical team that is built to beat Buffalo, especially if there's any kind of weather. I have us losing to the Jags in London. I think the Jags are a great team. I think the Bills are actually a better team, but going to London,
the Jags will be there, correct? Because we're their second game. They're their back-to-back weeks.
I believe so. I think so. They'll already be, and they're also even being rumored as like the potential. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but if a team's going to Europe or London, it's going to be the Jags. I don't think it is going to happen, but if there was going to be one, the reports are that Jags are the first choice. And then there was one more. So it was Jags, 2 in the division, Bengals, Eagles. I don't think we beat the Eagles. I think the Eagles are a powerhouse. Jalen Hurts is, especially just after what we saw that they did in that Super Bowl. So those are the 5 losses I foresee. Again, we could maybe win one of those. I'm not like, that's why they play the games. I'm not going to sit here and be like, this is exactly what's going to happen. But that's, I think, a good idea of how I could see the season unfolding. And I think that's a more measured approach than I've had, at least in seasons past, as far as the Bills and my record predictions. This is such a good team the last few years that I've probably gotten a little bit overconfident on them. But,
Right.
But this, you brought up a great point. Let me touch really quick on the Bengals game. That is going to leave a sour taste in everybody's mouths. And we got to remember, that was one game. We lost the other 3 games that entire season by a combined 8 points. And yeah, there were probably some games that were too close for comfort, like Skylar Thompson. Like, the Browns game got too close there for a second. But we still, 13 wins in the regular season, 14 wins overall last year. I don't see this team regressing hugely in any way. Certainly don't see them falling to 2 or 3 in the division. The only way I see that happening is if the Dolphins or the Jets rip off like 12 or 13 wins. So, yeah.
I like it. Now, for the people listening, if you want to hear more Bills updates like that, where can they find them at?
They can find that at BuffMafia_716 on Instagram. We got some great Bills stuff coming out all the time, even in the off season. We had a ton of stuff draft-wise. Live streams, discussion posts, player updates, team news. You can find it all on at BuffMafia_716 on Instagram, now on Twitter. So check us out on there as well. And thank you two just so much for having me on. This is just so special.
Yeah, we'll toss the links to that stuff in the description. And the lives that you do, that's what I like, because that's where I learn the most, is like watching and like go through the comments and stuff. It's always good, dude.
Yeah, appreciate you saying that. Yeah, it's a good time, and it's it's fun. It's the Bills, and sometimes it does become more than just the Bills. There's a lot of just NFL fans that follow, which that just gets fun because you get the chippiness. But I just almost think of it as more just like a grassroots Buffalo culture sport. It is Bills, obviously, more than anything, but we're trying to get into the Sabres realm a little bit too, and it's good stuff.
Yeah. What?
Let's go Bills.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man. I'm glad you could make it.
Yeah, I was fired up when you told me that you were coming on.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it's always a blast getting here talking about Bills, and maybe one day we'll run into you down Sarasota again.
Yeah, Dad. There we go. We'll go to the beach club. We'll go to Moondoggies, is the Bills bar right there. So right by around me. So yeah, there we go. Awesome.
All right, twist my arm.
Yeah, fantastic. Let's go Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, let's go.
Big dubs. Big dubs for Dog. It's electric. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
of course,
you.
pal.
Andy, I love you.
I love you too. Let's get out of here. Thanks, folks.